Hey there guys, Adrian here, aka JediBro95, coming at you guys in another video. In this video is going to be why I personally believe Ben Simmons is the most underrated player in the NBA right now. Now, granted, he's had his ups and downs, and, if you were to ask me this question, if you were to tell me that Ben Simmons would be underrated 2 years ago, I would have laughed at you, because Ben Simmons in 2019 really did not show any progression or development in his overall abilities. In that specific season, like it was barely obvious that he was the same player as he was in his rookie season. However, since then, he has actually gotten better. As long as people try to say that he's not, but he's not gotten better. And if you're one of those people that say he hasn't gotten better since his rookie season, you're just wrong, because he has proven he has taken that mega jump defensively. Like, people definitely thought he could be a very versatile defender because of his size, athletic ability, and his wingspan. But he's definitely now realized that potential, and in my opinion, has become the best overall defensive player in the league. Not saying he's the best, although he does have a case for it. But if you're talking about pure defensive ability, when it comes to rim protection, perimeter defense, steals, blocks, Ben Simmons has a case for that argument, other than maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Ben Simmons, in my opinion, has become overall the best, one of the best, if not the best overall defensive player in the league. And people just don't see that, because immediately when they look at Ben Simmons, what is the only thing people ever talk about is his shooting. The fact that he cannot shoot the ball, the fact that he's a very low percentage three-point shooter, and it's just, oh my goodness. It drives me crazy every time I see somebody say that Ben Simmons is trash and he's overrated because he cannot shoot. Like, I get it. His shooting ability does hold him back from realizing his full potential, because if Ben Simmons got a respectable three-point shot, he could be a top 5 player in the league. Absolutely, hands down. He could be a top 5 player in the league with everything plus a good jump shot. But when it comes to him, there we go. Trying to fix my thing there. But when it comes to Ben Simmons, he's one of those players that you have to look at the whole. Well, he's not just there are other players like that. They have to look at the whole totality of what they do. But when you look at Ben Simmons outside of the shooting, I saw someone say this on Twitter. I absolutely agree with this. Outside of his shooting, Ben Simmons is arguably a top 5 player in every other aspect of the game. In terms of finishing at the basket, I would agree he's a top 5 finisher in the league, other than Giannis, James Harden, LeBron, Kyrie Irving, and then I would put Ben Simmons in that argument. I would put Ben Simmons at number 5. Maybe you could put Anthony Davis in that list. However, I would say Ben Simmons is a better rim finisher than Anthony Davis. Because of his touch around the basket and the fact that, he has an easier time getting to the rim. Also, Ben Simmons is a top 5 passer in the league, and this shouldn't even be a debate, in my opinion. Because in the top 5 passers, LeBron, not even in order, LeBron, Jokic, Chris Paul, and then I would put Ben Simmons in that conversation. Maybe Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry at number 5, but I would say, Ben Simmons deserves to be in that discussion. In terms of defense, I've already made a point, in my opinion, that he's the best overall defender in the league. Then when it comes to rebounding, even though his numbers don't show it, at the guard position, there is, and his numbers do show it for the guard position, but in terms of overall, Ben Simmons is a phenomenal rebounder for his position. Okay? And I know, granted, he's 6'10", I get it, I get it. But even then, guards are not really prone to going in there, grabbing a board, and starting a fast break. The only one I've really seen do that in recent history is Russell Westbrook, for obvious reasons. But Ben Simmons, he can do that. And it's mind-blowing to me that when people look at his body of work and his skill set and his overall abilities, the only thing people ever focus on is his shooting ability. And I think that is a huge disservice and discredit to what Ben Simmons is as a ball player. It's the same thing with Draymond Green. Granted, Draymond Green was an above average shooter at his peak. But Draymond Green is one of those people that's impact and abilities and numbers go beyond numbers. Impact and abilities go beyond the numbers. Draymond Green is one of the best defensive players in the league. He's one of the better passers in the league. In terms of leadership and vocalization, I would argue that he has the smartest mind in the NBA right now. And I would argue, in terms of a leadership role and his impact on a team, I would argue that the Warriors, as underrated as good as a team as that was, I don't think the Warriors are a dynasty like that without Draymond Green, because of his defensive abilities, his playmaking, and his overall leadership. I don't think they're a dynasty without Draymond Green. And it's a shame, because everyone just looks at Draymond Green, they see the points he puts up on the efficiency, and they just call him trash. And can I just say, I think I mentioned this, I think I did talk about this, but that's a small side note, okay? If you're one of those people that just view points and efficiency and label those players as good or bad, please stop talking basketball. Just for the love of God, please stop. Because you are ruining basketball debates with your ignorance and your inability to look beyond the points and efficiency. You are ruining the game, and you are ruining debates. I get it. Scoring is important. Don't get me wrong. But if that is all you choose to focus on, when you look at everything else, you're literally the embodiment of Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? You're literally modern day Shaquille O'Neal when it comes to his brain. Remember when everybody clowned him for getting on Dwight Howard for saying when he was celebrating his championship in September? And then or was it October? I think it was October. Yes, it was. Shaq was basically like, oh, you didn't even do anything. And it's like, fam, just because he did not produce the points doesn't mean he didn't have an impact. Draymond. Dwight Howard in that postseason. I watched the Lakers postseason run because I'm a Laker fan. Dwight Howard had an up and down postseason, depending on who he played. Portland, he was pretty good. Houston, obvious reasons, he was not. He just wasn't very good against Houston because of the system they ran. Against Portland, he was good. He could have been better, but he was good. And then in the finals, he wasn't very good. So he had an up and down postseason. But that doesn't mean he didn't contribute with his, especially in the Portland series, with his shot blocking and rim protection, and also his rebounding presence. Just because you don't put up the points doesn't mean you're not impactful. There's more to the game than just scoring. And I absolutely hate that about NBA conversations and NBA debates. Just a quick side note also, it's one of the reasons that I think Donovan Mitchell is so disrespected. Granted, Donovan Mitchell is putting up 25 points per game, and it is good. However, I saw somebody basically trying to say that because he's shooting below efficiency and below average, there we go, in true shooting efficiency, he's not good. He's not a good player. He's not even the second best player on his team. And it's like, bruh. Okay. Mike Conley has had a good year. Finally got his all-star appearance that I would argue, should have had at least 2 by now. But just because he's shooting below average, first of all, league efficiency-wise, just so we're clear on this, true shooting league efficiency, okay? I'm not the biggest component of that stat because I think it can be a little bit skewed in terms of some debates. Well, but I do still think it is a good stat when used in the right context. But in this context, it can be used. So true shooting percentage, average, is 56%, okay? You know what Donovan Mitchell is shooting on true shooting percentage for the year? 55! Maybe even 52, because I saw somebody argue that, the real true shooting percentage is like minus 3.4. Okay, so he's shooting like 52 to 55% true shooting percentage. Like, okay. Like, he's putting up 25 points a game on just below average true shooting efficiency. You know who else suffers from true shooting efficiency woes? By today's standards, Kobe Bryant. And yet, I don't hear I do hear people saying that Kobe Bryant was a shot chucker, but Kobe Bryant was an elite scorer in his day. Okay, one of the best pure bucket getters of the 2000s. I would argue the best bucket getter of the 2000s because, realistically speaking, other than maybe Tracy McGrady, who do you got? Gilbert Arenas. Well, he had 3-4 years and then he was done. LeBron was good, but he was nowhere as skilled as Kobe Bryant in the 2000s. Paul Pierce, yeah, but I would argue still Kobe Bryant was. I would still say Kobe Bryant's more efficient and much more vast in his scoring output. So, like, even by today's standards, Kobe Bryant does not compare to the average true shooting to the league average. And if you're going to sit there and tell me that Kobe Bryant was a trash scorer, it would be a trash scorer in today's day because of the true shooting percentage, please stop talking basketball. You are ruining debates and you are making life on social media fucking difficult. Jesus Christ, I went off on a tangent on that one. My apologies. Where was I? Oh yeah. When it comes to Ben Simmons, back to the main topic, his impact and his overall abilities go beyond the stats. Sure, his stats weren't eye-popping. And I would argue this year, he probably should not have been an all-star, although he did get it. And you know what? I've, thought about it a little bit because I did talk about it in my all-star video, and I said that Ben Simmons should not be an all-star. And you know what? I'm going to take it back a little bit because he does have an argument because of his overall playmaking ability, his defensive impact, his overall just abilities on the court. So, but at the same time, there was an argument that he shouldn't have been an all-star this year. But Ben Simmons is quickly becoming the most, and I would argue he is right now, the most underrated player in the league. And it's a shame to who he is. Because I think without Ben Simmons, the Sixers are not as good as they are. It's the same way what it was with, last season with, not last season, 2019, I think it was, 2019 with Pascal Siakam, okay? Granted, yes, everybody looked at what Kawhi was doing, but it's like, if Pascal Siakam isn't as good as he is, they wouldn't be close to making the finals. Now, granted, Pascal Siakam was not very good in the playoffs. He did also have an up and down postseason, just like Dwight Howard did. But even then, he stepped up when his team needed him. And he played very good. He played very good in some games. He played very bad in some games. Game 1 was arguably his best game of the whole playoffs. Of the finals, Game 1 of the finals was the best game of the entire playoffs that he had. Just because these guys aren't putting up the numbers does not mean that they are not good. And it's frustrating to see people only focus on that. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. I want to hear your thoughts and takes on this topic because, I've had this boiling in my head for about a couple of days now. And then I decided to say, you know what? Fuck it. Let me make a video on this. But that's going to be the end of this video. Like the video if you guys did enjoy. Comment your thoughts, because again, I want to hear your opinion. I always want to see comments, talking about, do you agree, do you disagree, what are your counterpoints to my argument. Subscribe if you are new, and with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. I'm out. Peace.